Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. There was a fantastic flyweight IBF eliminator. I think it's a final eliminator between Angel Ayala of Mexico and Felix Alvarado of Nicaragua. Now, if you're a British fan of boxing, you will know that Felix Alvarado, 2 fights ago, fought Sonny Edwards and lost a unanimous decision. And he made things tough for Edwards. He started a bit late. He said that he wants a rematch because he feels he can do so much better. 34 now, Alvarado. But against the young Angel Ayala, only 23 years old, he looked to have done enough, but in fact lost a unanimous decision, 114, 113 on all cards. The decision went to Angel Ayala, who is undefeated, 16. He's now 17 wins with 7 KOs, no draws, no defeats. Look, I had this 115, 112 for Alvarado. I've seen far worse decisions because Angel Ayala was landing punches and working hard. But it did seem to me that Felix Alvarado, he spent the entire 36 minutes of this fight going forward, throwing huge punches. He floored Ayala with a real speedy, it was overhand right. That was in the first round. Ayala got up, did work his way back into it, picked up a cut, a very bad cut over the left eye, and had swelling by the end of the fight under the right eye, and he looked beaten up. And Felix Alvarado didn't seem to have much wrong with him. Look, Alvarado, 34, Nicaraguan, going to Mexico. He's now 39 wins and 4 defeats. All 4 of his defeats are on points. He's got 34 KOs. And this was an absolute baptism by fire for Angel Ayala. And while I was waiting for the scores to be announced, I thought, Ayala, he's probably lost this fight, but he'll be a much better fighter. Now, he got a controversial win. Okay, I don't like the result at all. Like I say, I've seen worse. Robbery. That word's overused, vastly overused. But I did think Alvarado won on sheer industry, on work rate. But he was being countered. Angel Ayala he's a tall, for a flyweight, he's quite tall. Skinny kid, doesn't look like he's got his man strength yet. Well, he's 11 years younger than Alvarado. Alvarado is, for a 34-year-old as a flyweight, it's not so uncommon nowadays, but in the old days, I mean, when I was a young man, that would have been considered very old for a flyweight. But of course, with nutrition and people fight less nowadays, they can postpone their sort of downside of their career for some years now. And it didn't look to me like Felix Alvarado was past it or on the downside at all. You know, he put the heat on this kid Ayala, gave him, like I say, a baptism by fire. But Ayala, you know, even though he was on the back foot a lot of the fight, he would stand and train. Absolutely nothing wrong with this kid's heart and determination. I just felt the old man, in inverted commas, outworked the young gun. But Alvarado, you know, it's weird because at the end of the fight, it was actually announced that Alvarado had won. He was like, yeah, I won, you know. And then the poor old ring announcer said, oh, hang on a minute, I've got it wrong. It's the other guy who's won. And he wasn't happy, Alvarado. But what can you do? You know, he did say before the fight, I've got to knock this kid out to get the decision. And so it proved. I don't know. I'd like to have a look at a breakdown of the cards. Like I say, Alvarado going forward constantly getting into range and firing punches. As soon as he got into range, was being countered. Ayala landed some decent punches. Bodywork wasn't bad actually from both men, but not enough of it. And the clean punches. I have to say, Ayala was a sucker for the overhand right. He got floored in the first round, and I thought Alvarado with that, you know, very high 34 KOs out of 39 wins. I thought he might be able to land that again and perhaps get Ayala in trouble. But there was nothing wrong with Ayala's chin at all, even if he hasn't got his man strength yet. He's got a man's chin, put it that way. And so, yeah, he ended up winning this fight and moves on to, presumably, if he's the IBF mandatory now, potentially he can have the winner of Bam versus Sonny Edwards. And Alvarado must be, he must be so mad. You know, he said I wanted that fight with Edwards. I started too late, which he most certainly did, but I can win that fight. This version of Alvarado, it would have been interesting to see how Edwards could have contained him. I rate Edwards quite highly now. I never used to. I still have reservations in some respects, but I think any questions I've got could well be answered in the affirmative or the negative when he fights Bam. But yeah, Alvarado, poor Alvarado. He's 34, no spring chicken. He's got to regroup again if he wants to go again. But he is, trust me, he's by no means a shock fighter. And he was saying before the fight, I'm no gatekeeper. You think I'm a gatekeeper, I've got something to show you. And he did show it. He did show it. But he couldn't get that stoppage win. And the one that moves on is Angel Ayala of Mexico. And good luck to the kid. You know, he gave it all. Both these guys fought their hearts out. And that's what we want to see. I love watching the little guys because there's so many punches thrown. There's a lot of action. I mean, certainly in like rounds 10, 11, 12, those so-called championship rounds, I mean, it was terrific stuff to watch. Real high-octane, action-packed stuff. But the guy who seemed to me to be constantly having the last word, constantly going forward, constantly putting the, you know, when I say pressure, it's not just, it was mental pressure as well as physical pressure. But he constantly seemed to be pushing Ayala back, making him think about what was coming at him rather than what he was going to deliver. And yeah, I thought Ayala didn't win. I thought Alvarado won. But hey, Ayala got the win. He moves on. Be interesting to see him if he does fight, you know, for the title. Maybe he'll go down another route, not the IBF one. But he's got that IBF mandatory now. So yeah. All right, this fight was on Golden Boy on DAZN, promoted by Golden Boy. Go and have a look at it. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with the decision? Perhaps you do think Ayala won, which I wouldn't have too much of a problem with because he was landing a lot of punches. But yeah, I definitely thought Alvarado won. But leave your comments below. Let me read them, see what you think. And yeah, thanks for your time as always. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Really appreciate it. Hit the like button as well. That would be great for us. And spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. And thanks for your time as always. Bye for now.